Good evening and welcome to the School District of Osceola County's scheduled board meeting for Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Tonight we will have an invocation delivered by Z. Nelly Hernandez, lead minister of Young Hope Ministries. Our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Danielle Marcara, our coordinator of college and career counseling. Our national anthem will be performed by the Gateway High School String Orchestra. Our mission statement will be read by Felisa Lewis, our Partners in Education Specialist. And our interpretation services will be provided by Ivani Garcia, coordinator of Multicultural Curriculum, Instruction, and Compliance. You will now please stand.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for giving us the opportunity and the freedom to meet with our district leaders and elected officials of this board. Thank you that we know they can call on you for wisdom when they feel stuck or struggling with certain issues or challenges. For your word says in Proverbs 2:6 that you give wisdom and from your mouth comes knowledge and understanding. I pray that Proverbs 18:15 be a reality for all board members tonight, that an intelligent heart acquires knowledge and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. Please lead and guide their every decision being made here tonight. I pray your favor and grace on each one of them as only you can do. In the name of Jesus, our Lord and Savior, I ask you these things. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening.
The mission of the Osceola School District is inspiring all learners to reach their highest potential as responsible, productive citizens.
Good afternoon, my name is Ivonne Garcia and I am here to provide interpretation services. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Ivonne Garcia, estoy aquí para proveer servicios de interpretación.
With that, we're on to positive comments. Dr. Chernoff, I'll start with you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I want to compliment our schools and our families on the attendance rates on our fast writing dates. So, as we know, the state requires that we test 95% of our students. As I went around to schools as testing was starting, we were seeing testing rates in the 97 to 98% on the first day, which is awesome. It means that the students feel prepared. It means that the teachers have done a great job preparing them. And that was actually part of 7 schools that I went to on our last celebration of day 1, which was April 1st. Had an opportunity to go around, and each one of these 7 schools, there was such a genuine spirit of day 1 culture. It was amazing. Just people in their shirts, people really committed to, hey, look, here's another great opportunity for us to have a great day of school. And that's what we've been working towards. And so it's really great that even in April of a school year, you still see people out there celebrating day 1. So we've got one more day 1 celebration left to start May. So the entire team will be out and about on May 1st, or excuse me, not May 1st, but the first Tuesday in May. And we will have gift cards in hand. So it'll be our biggest outreach yet. So looking forward to making it our best, even though it's our last for the school year. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Garcia?
Hello, everyone. I'm going to take my 2 minutes to do something very special. I would like to invite everyone to the 2025 Puerto Rican Parade. It will be celebrated April 26th in the city of Orlando. I am so honored that I will be the madrina, the godmother of the parade. But in addition to that, it's such a blessing to represent my island. I came to the United States 24 years ago, and since then, I've been promoting my culture, dressing as a jibarita. It's a beautiful dress, colorful dress, and we go to places like shelters, hospitals, and we bring joy during holidays, and we also celebrate the 3 Kings. But for this celebration, the parade is kind of like all our culture, flavor. You're gonna get to see it during the parade, and we invite everyone, not just Puerto Rican, everyone. If you wanna have fun, that's the place to go. And we're gonna have our bands, Poinciana High School, Cypress Elementary, and San Cloud. We're gonna be well represented there. But there is something special because our Dr. Shannon, he was selected as an honorary Puerto Rican for the parade. And I have something special for him. I have a pin and I have a flag, so you can start preparing for that day. You're gonna have a great time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Cook?
Can I take like 30 of her seconds?
Mr. Cook, you've got it.
Mr. Cook here. West side is the best side. District 3 where you want to be. Just let you know. I want to first start off with a kindergartner from actually the school where I started teaching, Madeline Inwood, who was using her weekends to hustle some candy bars to some oncoming folks, and she raised all the. See, this is why I like the little kids. Oh my God, I can't do it. So cute. Oh, okay. She raised $1,000 for Bella Lago just to help with the community and stuff. She is the top earner at the school. So I wanted to give her a shout out, give her our coin of recognition from our district and say thank you for your community service. And if you got more candy bars, bring them out there because ain't nobody saying no to you with them little bunny ears on, little cat ears on. Where's my community relations folks? They be running out here for Heather. I need them to run out here for, oh, you know what? They're gonna miss Inwood. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Oh, we got one more?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, you was hiding. This is something new for you. Okay.
All right. 1, 2, and 3. You are awesome.
That's mommy. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. My last comment is really focused on something that's serious to us, and it may not seem like a positive comment, but I actually think it is very positive. I want to thank everybody that has come out to lend their voice on what's going on with our ESC changes. I want to thank all of you who reached out to your board members, to your superintendents, to the ESC department, and had those one-on-one conversations. I think what it shows in our community is that we are passionate about our children's success in our schools. I think it shows a level of solidarity, though we may not be in agreement on how we're going to do this. We are in agreement in that we want to position our students to be as successful as they can be. And some of the things that I learned on the campaign trail that I knew that the community spoke on was, 1, they wanted us to be transparent. 2, they wanted us to be innovative. And 3, they wanted us to know how we were going to put our kids at the forefront of education. So in transparency, I can say as a student of this district, having started here in 3rd grade at Thacker, having graduated from Osceola High School in '98, and having my entire professional career be here, if there's one thing I know that the data says is that even with our best efforts, because there's one thing I know about my ESC folks and my paraprofessionals is they be busting their butts to make sure that our students are positioned to do well. However, the data is showing us that this is one subgroup where we have not done the best. And one thing that I know that the community voted me in for was to be innovative. And if there's one thing I will never do is maintain the status quo if it's going to hurt our kids or position our kids not in the best, put them in a position that's not going to be best suited for them. So while we may not be in agreement on how it's going to be done, one thing I ain't going to do is stand on my laurels and just maintain to the status quo. So we are trying to do something different as a district, which is why I think it is a positive thing that people have come out and lent their voice, because that lets us know that you care, that is helping us to refine what we're trying to do, and at the end of the day, it helps position our students as best as possible, and we're looking forward to the continued conversation and then the implementation of what we're trying to do to see how it's going to help us improve with this particular subgroup, because we don't want to fail them, we want to honor them and help them to be as successful as possible. So thank you for my time, even the little extra bit that you gave me, I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Ms. Castillo.
Thank you. I have quite a bit, but I will go fast. So first, I know that some of you were present or saw the Education Awards. It is always one of the highlights of our year to be able to share that beautiful space with our community members and our teachers and staff members. It was a really, really well done event. Congratulations to everybody that was nominated, to the winners, and to our community relations team. It was a beautiful event, and folks are still talking about it. Absolutely. A couple of weeks ago, I had the immense pleasure of attending the Day in the Legislature in Tallahassee with most of my fellow board members, and we advocated in Tallahassee for hurricane relief, administrative efficiency, attendance accountability, and school safety. I do want to take a moment of privilege to give some big props to fellow board member Paula Bronson. I walked in there with my papers and talking points, being very professional as I was speaking to our legislators. I knew exactly what I was going to say, and Ms. Bronson's sheer passion for students and for teachers made me stop talking and let her take over, because she was that passionate about her students, and she put all of my talking points to shame when she was like, let me tell you how this is going to affect my students. So I just want to say we are so grateful that you are on the board, and District 5, you have a great board member who's advocating for you everywhere and in Tallahassee. I also want to congratulate us as well, or give us a shout out for starting the journey for Master Board, which has been a dream of mine for a long time. Master Board is really a journey that we take as board members to be more effective and efficient, which may not seem like it's a lot, but being able to have discourse with your fellow board members makes us more efficient, and in return, it makes us better advocates for you. So I'm just really grateful that y'all took that step to be better at what we do. Chair Cahoon and I attended COSBA, which is a national conference for boards, and it was just a really great event. It was great to collaborate with other board members across the country, and it just reiterated that we are doing really well in Osceola, and I hope that, and I've already spoke to Dr. Shanoff, I hope that next year we're able to bring some of the innovation that we're bringing here in Osceola to the national stage. And just some updates, April 14th from 5:30 to 7:30 at Celebration High School, there is a great community conversation that is happening on online safety. I encourage everyone to attend if they can, specifically parents who are interested in learning about preventive actions to ensure safety for your students. And we also have some great community feedback sessions for the 2025-2026 Code of Conduct. You have a voice, as we know, as you are here. Continue to have that voice and passion by showing up to these events at St. Cloud High School and Celebration. Let us know what you think we should include in our Code of Conduct for next year. And I will yield the floor back. Thank you.
Ms. Bronson?
Yes, thank you. I had the opportunity to attend Career Source Central Florida. It's also known as Impact, and it's at the Osceola Valencia campus. And it was a special graduation ceremony for Impact learners. And this ceremony celebrated their achievements in completing English classes, acquiring valuable digital skills, and they earned their Florida Ready to Work certification. And they're also continuing their journey to gain their paraprofessional certification. And it was just a powerful graduation to witness, because they came in not knowing English, struggling, not sure where they wanted to go with their lives, and decided education. And just, it was a monumental success. I also attended the Swamp Cabbage Parade in Keansville, and that was a delight. It's great family fun. It's a yearly event that we love to attend. Great barbecue, raffles, and of course, the Swamp Cabbage. And, oh, this is a good one. I attended Osceola Technical College. They had a 3rd annual Osceola Cooks competition. Students from Parkway Middle, in February, they had some treats that they were giving away in the lobby. Toho, Osceola High, Poinciana High, Zenith, and Osceola Technical College. I watched competitions in knife skills, making desserts. They had a mystery menu where they were just given some different items and they had to make a meal. A waitress relay, spice and pasta challenge, and my favorite was you had to guess the cheese. This event had opportunities for our students to participate in professional chef demonstrations, and they got to work alongside with chefs from Disney and Universal, and it was exciting. And my little last thing here is I attended yesterday the Latinos in Action Conference, and it was great. I got to see Toho, Celebration, Gateway, Harmony, Kissimmee Middle, Liberty High, Narcoossee Middle, Osceola County School for the Arts, Osceola High, Poinciana, and St. Cloud High. And this is just empowering Latino youth to lead and strengthen their communities through college and career readiness. And they focus on excelling in education, serving their community, and developing leadership skills. And our kids are doing a great job. I was just so proud to be there and just cheer them on, because It was amazing.
That's great. All right. I'd like to add that we also had in the last couple weeks the Arts Alive Showcase that was put on by our wonderful arts program here in the district and some community partners. And at that showcase, high school students performed in all areas of arts, and they gave away more than $30,000 in scholarships to graduating seniors. So it's always a fun night, a great way to see all of the arts that are really happening in Osceola County and really supporting these kids as they go into their future careers and educations around arts. In addition to the trip we took up to Tallahassee for the Florida School Boards Association Day in the Legislature, a few of us also went on the OLA trip, which is our Osceola legislative effort to Tallahassee, which happened last week. So we've been up there twice now advocating on behalf of our students and our teachers. And one thing that I just want to take a moment to inform our community about is a portion of a bill, House Bill 5101, which is currently moving through legislature and could have serious implications on Osceola schools and students. This bill proposes to cut funding weights for advanced academic programs, including AP, IB, dual enrollment, and career education. For Osceola County particularly, it will translate to approximately $5 million in loss of student-generated funding. While the bill's sponsor has characterized this cutting as bonus weights and incentives, the reality is that these funds are actually essential, not supplemental for us. With chronic underfunding through the base FEFP formula, our district relies on these so-called bonuses to fund and provide critical educational opportunities for our students. If this is enacted, these cuts could reduce access to advanced courses that prepare our students for college and competitive careers. It could limit our ability to attract and retain qualified teachers for these special ed programs, and it could weaken our district's competitiveness in preparing students for post-secondary success. This isn't just an educational issue, it's also an economic issue. Our community's future prosperity depends on having a skilled and educated workforce, and by limiting access to these advanced courses and these career education opportunities, we risk to create further disadvantages for students from lower income families and potentially place added financial burden on other families. So I encourage you as the community to reach out to your legislators, to our legislators, and let them know that this bill is going to hurt our students and hurt our community here in Osceola. In addition to that, I know it wasn't that positive, but I think it's something you needed to know. Dr. Shanoff and I attended Runway to Hope's Bash Weekend this past weekend. If you've never heard of Runway to Hope, they're an organization that provides support to children with pediatric cancer. And this weekend was amazing. So next month they'll have their annual soiree, which is their fundraising event to raise funds for what they do for these students and their families. But this past weekend at Bloomingdale's, they're hosted, and the kids get to go on a little fashion scavenger hunt. They get to go shop for what they're going to wear at the fashion show. They have a ton of community sponsors and supporters that come out, offer face painting and things done with their hair and nails, and there's jugglers and magicians and everything. So these kids get to feel really like they are the star of the show. They have older children that are now in remission that get to come and escort the kids when they'll go across the stage next month. And we have our very own Osceola students that are participating in this because there are kids here in Osceola County that are battling pediatric cancer. So to be there and get to shop with those kids that are from our community was really great. They've been further expanding what they do for these students, and so they've been meeting with us a little bit on how their team can come in and support these kids after they return from maybe a hospital homebound situation, things like that, and they're now in our schools and have more of wraparound services. So that's why Dr. Shanoff and I were there. And then in addition to that, a few of us went to the UCPF Central Florida's annual gala this weekend, and that was a great opportunity for us to support another community partner that helps us service our students here in Osceola. And with that, I think we are done with positive comments now. So we are moving on to our presentations. We have our Fine Arts Moment performed by the cast of Finding Nemo Jr. from Discovery Intermediate School.
Exactly. That's why Nemo, here's the key. I've got a feeling we found a way. You said this before and we almost got squished by a.
Hey, we don't need a replay.
This time is different, cause now we've got you. We'll all get out if we can swim the way we always do. Together, we swim together. Cooperation is the secret to our success. We swim in harmony, we're a fishing family, and the coral reef will be our new address. So how about it, kid? I don't swim though. I've got a bad fin. One bad fin don't stop me. Good fins or bad fins, battle through. But the ocean is scary and dangerous, Gil. Not when you're with our crew.
You're one of us now, we've all got your back. And no fish will be left behind.
We paddle as a pack. Together, we swim together. And together we'll get out of here as a group.
Oh, I believe we can.
Yeah, what's the plan? We're gonna jam the filter and fill this tank with poo.
Huh?
Nemo's small enough to jam the filter. The tank will get filthy and the staff will have to clean it.
Oh!
They'll turn off the pump. We'll leave the grate and swim through the intake pipe into the ocean. Take the rock, jam the gears, fill the tank with poo. Yank the grate, swim the pipe into the big old blue.
Take the rock, jam the gears, fill the tank with poo. Yank the grate, swim the pipe into the big old blue.
That's it, kid. Now wedge the rock into the gears.
Come on, Nemo, you can do it.
You're so close.
Oh, I can't look.
Gil, I actually did it. I actually jammed the filter.
Woo! Together, we swim together. Little clownfish are our ticket to breaking free. And if we all join fins, everybody wins, and we'll swim together in the open sea.
That's great. Next up, we have the president of the St. Cloud Chamber of Commerce to present their rebranding.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Shanoff, school board members, particularly our own board member Paula Bronson from the St. Cloud Chamber. One of the pillars of the Chamber of Commerce is to encourage and engage our educators and students throughout Osceola County. When the Chamber decided to rebrand for 2025, we approached the school district and were directed to a rock star, Jenny Moes, CTE Department Chair of Toho High School. Ms. Moes gathered approximately 40 students who began to study and probe into the Chamber and St. Cloud as a community. They did their homework. Mark Wells of MW Ideas served as our guiding consultant with the students, and the result was greater than we could have hoped for. In May of 2024, Ms. Moes students submitted conceptual drawings that proved they were more than equal to the task. After giving them the green light to proceed, Mr. Wells and myself attended a live classroom event on September 20th where the participating students presented their logo drafts. On September 30th, the rebranding committee of the Chamber chose finalists including Allison Milo, Hannah Forbes, and Nadia Demjanovich, and suggested changes back to the students who responded promptly. Finally, on July 15th, the Chamber Board of Directors voted to approve the design that you will see tonight. We want to congratulate our artist, Allison Milo. Allison? Her work will be prominently displayed on all Chamber printed information, logo wear, digital presentations. And let me say this, you have a rock star in Ms. Mohes, and she is creating more rock stars for you. And I cannot applaud her enough. We have been in great hands. We could not have been treated better had we gone to a professional designing firm. And so we are very proud. My board is very proud. And we'd like to turn to Allison to do the unveiling. This is what we were, right? Okay, Allison. Get the paparazzi in place.
From the bottom. There you go.
Not only did my board adopt the colors, the design, but they adopted the slogan, your success, our community, one future, and I don't know of another 17-year-old that could do that and get it by veteran business owners on the first try. So with that, tonight is the night. And we have our new logo in place. My staff already has the new business cards. We have a new website that will be coming up before long, and all of it will take on this logo. In addition, we've been given a few sample copies of the new St. Cloud Living Business Directory, and look what's on the cover. And so I have some board members here tonight. Melissa Vallejo from Experience Kissimmee, Jolene Shive from Legacy Realty, and our incoming chair, Lisa Bertosa from Keystone Residential. And we want you to have, hot off the press, these are the only copies available right now. But I would like, if you would, to not only appreciate Ms. Mohes, Allison, but also her parents are here tonight to celebrate with us. And so I'd like for them all to stand and be recognized, if you please. As you can see, the chamber is delighted with the outcome, and we're moving forward. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Do you mind if we take just a second for pictures? Okay. And whoever you want to join us.
Now the audience needs to see the unveiling.
Oh, yes.
How are you?
This was the marketplace.
That was great. Wonderful. Yes. Perfect. Yes.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, yes,
Next, we have our friends from Addition Financial for their School Spirit Debit Card Donation presentation. Oh, I'm sorry, actually, I skipped one. We have our proclamation for April 2025 as School Library Month, read by Michelle Jarrett, our Library Media Supervisor. I'm a little happy on my checking off.
No, you're so sweet, thank you. Good evening, Board, Superintendent Shanoff, District Leadership, and the media specialists who are here to support this proclamation. I'm pleased to bring before you this evening a resolution declaring April to be School Library Month. I'm infinitely proud of the work of our school library media specialists and their library programs. This year, students and staff have logged over 8 million minutes in BeamStack, written over 9,000 book reviews, and checked out 1,120,713 books as of the end of March, so we're not done. We have media specialists that are leaders across the state, serving in leadership and committees in their state professional association. And we have 3 library professionals pursuing Florida Power Library distinction through the Florida Association for Supervisors of Media. School library media specialists support district curriculum goals and initiatives while encouraging a love for reading with students and staff through family book clubs, incentives, author visits, and the pure joy they share each day. For these reasons and a million more, I'd like to read for you the proclamation. If I can get it to open. Whereas the school district of Osceola, okay, wait, my eyes are bad. Whereas the school district, oh gosh, thank you. My eyes are 52. And they're getting older every day. Whereas the school district of Osceola County recognizes the invaluable role that school libraries play in fostering literacy, promoting a love of reading, and providing essential resources for student success. And whereas school libraries are vital hubs of learning that support the academic, intellectual, and emotional growth of students, providing access to a wide range of print and digital materials that enhance the educational experience. And whereas the dedicated school librarians and library staff within our district play a crucial role in guiding students to become critical thinkers, effective researchers, and responsible digital citizens. And whereas April is a fitting month to highlight the importance of school libraries as it coincides with National School Library Month, a time to celebrate and promote the contributions of school libraries to the educational community. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Osceola County School Board hereby designates the month of April 2025 as School Library Month in the Osceola School District. We encourage all educators, students, parents, and community members to recognize and appreciate the significant contributions of school libraries and library professionals to the educational development of our students.
So moved. A motion by Ms. Castillo, second by Ms. Garcia. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Happy
Thank
School
you.
Library Month.
Appreciate it.
Now we have our friends from Addition Financial for the school spirit debit card donation presentation. We have Felisa Lewis, our Partners in Education Coordinator.
Good evening. Good evening, Board, Dr. Shanoff, our district leaders, and our guests gathered here this evening. As she mentioned, I am Felisa Lewis, and I have the honor of overseeing our Partners in Education program here for the Osceola School District. A few moments ago, you heard me recite our district's mission statement, and inspiring over 80,000 students to reach their highest potential can be an overwhelming task. Fortunately for us, we have a number of community partners who we call Partners in Education to help us fulfill this mission. Many of our partners offer financial support to our classrooms, our teachers and staff, our athletic teams, our extracurricular activities and fine arts. Some of our partners provide career exploration opportunities and real-world learning experiences to our students. And some of our partners offer scholarships to help students realize their dreams of higher education. And then we have partners like Addition Financial, who do all of these things and more. So tonight I'm excited to have Ms. Taylor Kowalczyk, Ms. Alexandra Ramos Carrasquillo, and Mr. Rich Barberi, who oversee our community engagement and our high school branches, here to make a special presentation for our School Spirit Debit Card program. If you'll join me, please.
Thank you, Felicia. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about us, so I appreciate that. Good evening, school board, Dr. Shanoff, cabinet. Tonight is one of my favorite evenings because we get to unveil our donation back to the school district for our 2024 school district debit card program. For those of you who don't know, because of our partnership with Osceola School District, we have created branded debit cards for every single Osceola high school. Each transaction that any of our members make with these debit cards, we give back 3 cents each transaction. We started this program in 2009 with the Osceola School District, and over the years, we've given back $359,779. This year was one of our most successful years because I'm happy to announce that we're giving back over $28,000 back to Osceola School District, which is one of our most successful years. We're thoroughly proud of this. We're happy to see this program grow. 2024 was really an exciting year for our partnership because we also opened our newest high school branch at Osceola High School, which was a great project. Students run the branch, they get a financial literacy field, they make transactions, looks great on a resume. So we're really here today to announce not only a dollar amount, but the future of our partnership and the way we can continue to support and give back to your schools. So thank you everyone for having us, and we're happy to grow this program. Now I believe we take a photo.
Hello, good. How are you? Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good to see you too. Hi.
Next, we have a really exciting presentation. It is the 2024-2025 Superintendent Student Advisory Group presentation presented by the Student Advisory Group themselves. So I welcome you all up to the podium.
Student
Hi, my name is Olivia Morris. I'm a senior and I'm a representative from St. Cloud High School.
Hi, I'm Shanely Cologne, and I'm also a representative of St. Cloud High School.
Hi, my name is Entrepreneur Patel. I'm from Professional and Technical High School.
Hi, I'm Mario Santos, and I represent Gateway High School.
Good afternoon, my name is Jaden Graham, and I'm a senior at New York City Academy.
Hello, my name is Sebastian Delgado. I'm a junior at New York City Academy.
Hello, my name is Ashley Battle, and I'm a junior at PAFS.
Hello, my name is Vanessa Kwok, and I'm a junior at Osceola High School.
Hello, my name is Susan Salazar, and I'm a junior at Osceola Regional School.
Hello, I'm Krista Zimmerman, and I'm a senior at Harmony High School.
Hello, my name is Liam Jagdale, and I'm a senior at Osceola High School.
Hello, my name is Emily Rodriguez, and I'm a senior from Poinciana High School.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Hello, my name is Trenton Danker. I'm a senior at the Osceola County School for the Arts.
Hello, my name is Carolise Rosario, and I'm a senior at Celebration High School.
Alright, so we're gonna start this off by giving our introductions. So good evening, SDOC board members. This evening, the Superintendent Student Advisory Group would like to showcase our hard work and achievements we've made as the school year comes to an end.
Alright, today we will be talking about our current mentorship programs on our campuses, our current programs that are also implementing our students on campuses, and our future outlook of the Student Advisory Group.
So who are we? The Superintendent Student Advisory Group consists of two representatives, one senior and one junior per each Osceola County High School. This group focuses on tackling countywide challenges, providing a refreshing perspective, and making sure that the high school experience is memorable and fun.
So when we first met this summer, we wanted to really come together and collaborate and find one issue we could all really tackle within every Osceola County high school. So one thing we all came together and really wanted to work on was mentorship. So we asked ourselves, why mentorship? Mentorship is supportive, caring, creating relationships and an environment for students to really come together and collaborate and feel a better sense of community within our schools. Because we all, I know personally at a choice school, Osceola County School for the Arts, sometimes it's hard to find your place and fit in, and sometimes we just need that one person to look up to and be like, hey, can you help me? So we all believe this was our biggest goal for the year, and figuring out how can we put mentorship in our schools.
So I know that most of us on the advisory group decided that was our issue that we wanted to tackle. So we noticed that a lot of the students on our campuses didn't have the study support or the drive for the additional help in their extracurriculars or their academics. And I know specifically at Osceola, our school has students who just couldn't find the resources to broaden their knowledge on specifically like the 4 E's.
School before had a minimal student involvement in a very inclusive school culture. Opportunity for cross-cultural collaboration, student organized and peer-led initiatives were minimal, contributing to a sense of disconnection and low school spirit among many students.
Hello again. So when it comes to navigating post-secondary options, countywide, students struggle to find what they wish to do for post-secondary options. So at professional technical high school, students have to choose a technical pathway for their OTech program. But however, students lacked resources to choose their future endeavors.
So the initiative we wanted with this program, a huge thing, as I touched on earlier, was school culture. I know personally at OXA and other choice schools like PATS and Neo City, sometimes find that culture in your school can be a little difficult. We don't have pep rallies. We don't have a football team to rally around, even when they're 0-13 on their season. We still love them. Just trying to find that school culture within your own groups on campus. And with culture comes community. With high school, you enter a student and you leave a human, you leave a person. And you want to find your communities in life, and using a mentor to help you navigate the scary challenges of high school is one amazing way we can help out students leave as better people.
Sorry. Additionally, we wanted to talk about striving for academic excellence. So personally, I go to Celebration High School. I'm in the IB program there. That's the most rigorous high school program that you could take. So academic excellence for me looks like straight A's or staying up and cramming and getting an 100 on the exam. But academic excellence for someone else could be getting their C up to a B, or getting their 1.7 up to a 2.0, and that's academic excellence for them. And it's important to remember that academic excellence looks different for everyone. Additionally, encouraging unity and self-sufficiency. So, as Trenton said, building school culture, it creates this idea that you belong and you want to go to school and you want to do more things because you have this unity. And not only does it bring unity, but it brings self-sufficiency. You realize that you do have these tools. You can ask for help. And these peer mentorship programs teach you that everything anyone else can do, so can you. And it's okay to rely on yourself just as much as it's okay to ask for help. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Now we're going to move on to our current mentorship programs. All right, so the first phase of building a mentorship program in your school is first audience and goal identification. Every school individually went into their own community and saw what was the biggest need for students at our own school. For Paths and Neo City and Oxford, for example, we already have pathways, so we identified those students in each pathway to be the ones of most high need. However, in other schools like Celebration, St. Cloud, and most of the more rigorous general high schools did identify students that were at risk of not graduating or had large behavioral issues.
Phase 2 is finding a team. Finding a team is basically who's going to partake in the mentorship programs. Mentorship programs started after each after each administration approved. Then surveys were sent out to gauge what each school found there was necessary for each school. For examples, in my case, I go to Gateway and we were focused on inclusion for every single student so nobody was left behind. Finally, schools released mentor-mentee signups and applications for students to join each program.
The third phase is program implementation, where each school offered different resources to each student at their school.
So, for example, at every school, such as especially OXA and Neo City, they provided information on intended pathways for after high school, whether it's military, Valencia, anything like that, and every post-secondary opportunity. They wanted to make sure all students had information and make sure that everyone knew that there is a plan for them after high school. They were also given informational sessions on things such as internships. So a lot of mentors, such as Jaden, he found another student at his school that had very similar interests in future career pathways. I believe engineering is one of them, and he happened to know someone that had a great engineering background, and they could give them lots of information and research opportunities. So schools like all the ones in Osceola County offer great things like that.
So here's an example meeting at one of these mentorship initiatives might actually look like. To start off, you'll have a brief icebreaker just to get to know your group. Then you'll have a whole group lesson diving deeper into a specific topic. Like I said earlier, every single school identified what their school needed most. That might be leadership skills, organizational practices, and that's what they'll dive into for a large portion of the group activity. Moving forward, they'll then have breakout sessions where they'll meet one-on-one with their individualized mentor to once again go in what they need personally, which unfortunately we don't get in a large school environment. Most schools have a counselor to every 800 students. So here's a really great way where you can talk to a student individually, get their own needs, and get their grades up, which we'll talk about on the next slide. And then lastly, we'll come together with final remarks and dismissal to kind of tie it up and talk about reflection, so how we can use what you learned in that meeting to move forward. This lesson or this model overall is very adaptive, and we've integrated differently into every single school. Like I said, every school has different needs, and because of that, every student on the board on our group has the own authority to kind of see what their school needs in particular.
Alright, so some data for the programs in the high schools that include 204 mentors, which are seniors and juniors, 875 mentees, which were sophomores and freshmen who wanted to learn, and then we had over 250 volunteer hours distributed throughout all Osceola County high schools.
And here we have some pictures of students at our different mentorship initiatives. You could have students getting individualized mentorship, group lessons, or even college and career fairs.
Some success stories that we've had with these programs were, at least in Gateway, we had a student with a huge GPA improvement. He went from a 1.7 to a 2.5. He's a sophomore. I personally took him as a mentee because I realized that he had the wants and the wills to get better at what he wanted to do. He just didn't have that support, as it was mentioned. He's a sophomore now, and he was getting F's, skipping class. And then I told him, I was like, you need to step it up if you want to have not necessarily want to have a future, but if you want to have something set for you. And he started getting A's, B's. He doesn't skip class anymore, and I regularly check up with him. He's honestly became one of my best friends.
For schools such as St. Cloud, again, like Jaden said earlier, St. Cloud is mainly geared towards helping kids who, as freshmen and sophomores, are not on the way to graduating. And again, we want to find a way to make that not happen. So 2 great examples for us is we had 2 freshmen that were not doing well. They were skipping class. Their GPA was far below what it needed to be, and they were good kids. They just didn't have the drive. They didn't have the motivation to do it. So we found, I personally, and Shayna, we found 2 seniors for both of them, and we had them talk to them and say, hey, this is what you need to do. You can do it. They just needed help. So they used incentives and many other things, and now their GPA is at or above a 2.0, and they have started going to class, and their they just had much better behavior than they did before they started meeting. So I think meeting with the mentors and knowing that they had someone there for them that was willing to stand by their side and make sure they get themselves together, it really helped motivate them.
Thank you.
At the start of the year, Dr. Shanna expressed his desire for our group to focus on creating work of quality. This led us to raise the question, what is quality? How do we define quality? To us, quality is the work that will outlast us. By the time we have graduated high school and moved on to the next chapter of our lives, we hope to have left a lasting impression and a lasting legacy on our schools as well as our communities as a whole. And to achieve this, we started by focusing on sustainability.
One of our key features of the advisory student group is our unique layout. Our unique layout enables us to have each of the rising classes have a seamless, step into their roles of the previous class. This smoothly transitions into the further supported by the mentorship programs across each county, school. In addition, juniors in our student advisory group also have been given the opportunity to receive further guidance to help get into the role of their new leadership position and help out the next upcoming juniors to also seamlessly be pushed into their new roles and accomplish things in the future.
Okay, so future projects that we've been working on are things like punch cards on the back of student IDs, which would be tailored to each grade's goals for college and post-secondary, like trade school, military, etc. So like for example, freshmen will have to create a foundation for themselves in school. So they will join a club, go to an after-school activity, just create connections around school, and then also meet up with their counselors. And then for 10th graders, they will begin to take those like more rigorous classes like AP, DE, and then also start test prep because they'll be taking that the next year, and then also continue to talk to their guidance counselors and look forward to the next year.
And then continuing on for 11th graders, they would start finalizing some college and career goals, such as getting their community service hours done, as well as getting some their desired test scores, so like SAT and ACT. But then we would also want them to start looking towards also college-based goals. So this includes creating that scholarship list, getting that senior timeline, so on and so forth. And then for seniors, we would have them also work on those 11th grade goals that they didn't happen to finish, but as well as looking for stuff like financial aid, getting their college applications done, and then so on and so forth. So then this basically motivates students to get that drive to then pursue college and post-secondary goals that they might have not once saw.
So what's next for the advisory group? The advisory group will continue to flourish with the sustainability of the program stated earlier in the presentation, and they will continue to challenge new topics and provide valuable insight on how to take on these new challenges and projects.
So we are determined to expand our partnership program throughout the county, fostering specific pathways for students, encouraging growth at every grade level, and nurturing the relationship between mentors and mentees. As for Osceola Virtual School, where I attend, there are plans in motion for that, which are going to be bi-monthly meetings in which students will be presented with topics such as DE, extracurricular activities, and resources to help them be successful academically and in life. To conclude, we envision the concept of punch cards, making it accessible and impactful for all grade levels, and ensuring a format that empowers every student to become better and attain a higher education.
So as well as these new projects, we will continue to refine the things stated here tonight to help the young and veteran students succeed.
And
In terms of continuing what we have already started, I'm happy to announce as a student at Osceola High School and the representative for my school that we are integrating our mentorship program into our general education next year, meaning our mentors are actually going to have a class where they will have the opportunity to pull their mentees out and kind of have this structured one-on-one conversation with them, right? We can only do so much after school because we cannot force a child to stay. However, when we approach them in the classroom setting, we're getting to see that academic side of them as well as being able to advise them in a new setting that is more beneficial to their direct education. And I think that is something that we are all looking forward to.
So the next slide is going to be all of the students on the advisory board. Not all of us could be here today, so we just wanted to represent all of us for all this hard work that we put in this year. And then thank you so much for your time.
Can I say something real quick on that? Yeah. So before you guys leave, you get a picture. So I wanna first and foremost thank our student representatives. The ones last year kind of they paved the way and they provided a lot of really good feedback for us, which is why we decided this year there would be a senior and a junior. Because we wanted that continuity year over year, because what they were developing over the course of the year was very special. And it was about what was taking place on the ground. This was the high school student experience, and we wanted to make sure it was captured. These meetings were the most fun meetings I had on my schedule. They were on time, first thing in the morning, which was outstanding. But they were full of ideas. And it really comes down to what type of experience do you want to have, and how can we make the experience better for everybody? And they really were talking about all means all. And that I think was very inspiring for not just me, but I also need to recognize our two district leaders that were really co-facilitating this group through this particular work, and that's Danielle Malfera and Summers of Ios. Is she in the back? They were absolutely fantastic. Sometimes we would go a little bit out into left field. They were really good about bringing us back. But it was such a joy to work with them. These are all, individually, they are all very, very special people. And our community is going to be a better place, because after you seniors go off and do whatever you're going to do, hopefully you will come back to Osceola County and share your expertise. For the juniors, we will see you again next year. And really look forward to building on this work. You will be that first junior class that gets the opportunity to be on this committee for 2 years. With that responsibility, there's some acceleration that will need to take place to really make this world class. There are school districts that have superintendent student advisory groups. They oftentimes can pull together kind of very general presentations. This group got their hands dirty on their school campuses to get the work done and to make the experience better for everybody. And they have my respect. They're phenomenal human beings. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Okay, great. Because this started like while I was district admin. So I'm seeing it flourish. Let me contextualize this for all of you, okay? I travel the nation working with other districts. There's one other district that I know that has a program similar to what you are building that is nationally recognized. So I just want to point out the fact that you are cutting edge in the peer advisory that you're doing. Like, you may not understand that because we're in our little Osceola bubble, but I'm outside of the Osceola bubble, so I understand how impactful the work is that you're doing. And for anybody that's listening, it may seem like a small feat that they moved a student from a 1.7 to a 2.0, but what that means is they're now graduation ready. So let's be very clear about that. It takes a village, which means parents, which means educators, and which also means peers. And we just had peers helping out other peers move from being at-risk students to now being in a position to where they could potentially graduate. So if Dr. Shanoff has not commended you enough, which I know he has, let us commend you for the outstanding work that you've done. Excited to see what happens next year. Thank you for committing yourselves to the work that you've done now. I cannot wait to see where this goes. And I always say, West Side is the best side. District 3 is where you want to be. Let me point out that Zabios and Mafera came from Poinciana. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. Students, great job.
You guys want to stand up?
Dr. You were something, whatever you want.
So that would be great if you just short group. It's our group.
Okay, just to make sure. We don't want to take any shot.
Alrighty, on 3, 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Alright, our final presentation is an ESC update for 25-26, presented by Dr. Clayton, our Deputy Superintendent, Ms. DeLuca, our Director of Exceptional Student Education.
Can I start, Madam Chair?
Yes, you may.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Madam Chair, board members. Before Dr. Clayton and Mrs. DeLuca begin, I want to thank the board for their support. I want to thank our ESC team and our schools for their professionalism and hard work through this process. But mostly, I want to thank the parents who have engaged with us, whether directly or indirectly. I want to see the following truths before we begin. Change is infinitely more challenging for families and students with special needs. We have areas, the other one is that we have areas in schools where students are having a great experience as an ESC student because of great teachers and staff. We need to see other truths as well as part of this conversation. Students on regular education standards served in self-contained desk classrooms are currently achieving at different levels compared to their ESC peers in regular education. And the other is that we cannot sustain serving all exceptionalities to the letter of the IEP at all schools utilizing our current ESC model. We are focused on guaranteeing exceptional education students the services they are due. Without redistricting, which is not on the table, we do not have the space at certain schools to continue the current model. Our geography, flat funding from the state, rapid growth in our county, and our ESC staffing challenges require us to adapt. School choice has become a point of contention with these shifts. Serving students with the services on their IEPs is a federal requirement and supersedes the school district's choice process. As with our surrounding districts, we are required to ensure IEPs are met. IEPs address programmatic placement. The school district's requirement is to provide those services on the IEP at a school location and the ancillary services that come with it, including transportation. I also want to take a moment of privilege and say that There are things that have been communicated that I wish had been communicated better. From me. I own that. I'm a member of my team. I'm the superintendent. Things aren't communicated effectively. That falls on my shoulders. That is my responsibility. It also means that we need to continue the dialogue, and it also means that we need to make sure that we clarify where things are confusing, which is what we intend to do this evening. So, Dr. Clayton and Mrs. DeLuca will go ahead and provide some updates beyond what we shared at our previous meeting. Dr. Clayton.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to get us started and remind everybody that our presentation here today is just an update. I'm not going to revisit all of the things that we presented last time. I will reference some of the things that were presented last time, but what we want to do is show what we are providing for high-quality teaching and learning experiences for all of our students and serving the least restrictive environment. Okay, so just a reminder, our ESE department mission is similar to our district mission. It's cascades down from our district mission, and it's the ESE department will provide a spectrum of innovative support that helps to inspire students with disabilities to reach their highest potential as responsible, productive citizens. Keep that in mind. Oh, this is going very quickly. Oh, one click at a time. There we go. All right, and so we want to acknowledge that we are excited to announce the progress within our ESE structures that were previously presented, and they're aimed at enhancing our experiences and outcomes for our students district-wide. This initiative reflects our commitment to continuous improvement and the collaboration among teachers, staff, parents, and our community partners. And we believe that working together, we can foster an environment that is conducive to learning and growth. And we do look forward to continuing these partnerships with all of our stakeholders. So the topics we will cover today are some additional updates and references to what was provided before. We'll clarify some myths versus facts, and we'll share the continuation of our next steps. This is an ongoing process, and I will take any questions from the board members. So I will go a little bit further in depth onto these topics for some additional updates that have occurred and clarifications. And you will hear that we are referencing the two main changes, which are the best self-contained classrooms, which are general ed standards students, and the separate class hubs. And we will talk a little bit about the ESE advisory committees, the external audit that contributed to this, the teacher and staff Q&A sessions that were held in the recent weeks, parent calls and one-on-one meetings, hubs for access and separate class, and choice options. So these enhancements are designed to fill gaps that are across our entire district, across all 55 plus schools, to provide the higher quality experience and education to all of our students, especially students with exceptionalities. So those two main changes is addressing the best self-contained classrooms. We need to ensure that we are serving all of our students that have been previously in this setting or currently in this setting, that we are serving them in the least restrictive environment with ESE teachers and paras. They will push in or pull out the ESE services. They are not being released just to the gen ed setting without those ESE supports and addressing their IEPs. Hubs have been identified in 4 regions, and we reviewed those hubs at the last meeting. So for further clarification on the ESE advisory committees that have occurred in the last, since March 2023, there have actually been 4 different committees. We've heard some questions and we've had a lot of questions about clarifying these ESE advisory committees. And to help others understand, we have had 4 different types of committees that have occurred over the course of time. So those 4 different committees from March 23 to May of 25, they are still ongoing. 2 of them have been board-appointed committees, one from the March to April 2023 timeframe, and one that is currently occurring, which started meeting in January of 2025. Those are the 2 board-appointed advisory committees. Those are the ones that are following the board policy, and the requirement is to meet once per quarter and to have board-appointed representatives. And those are smaller committees and do have board invited parent participants. The other 2 district committees, which are school-based teachers, RCS, administrators, district ESE staff, and these are a district committee that occurred last school year for the length of the school year, and one that has been occurring this school year. So the one that was in place last school year came out of the recommendation of the first board recommended advisory committee. So the committee that met March and April of 2023, they presented their findings and recommendations, and so that work never stopped. That work continued from those recommendations through the next advisory committee, which was the district advisory committee that had those school-based teachers, resource compliance specialists, administrators, and district ESE participants. That work had occurred monthly and was provided input into the advisory with topics that they were living, breathing, feeling, hearing from every day in the trenches, day to day, of what needed to be addressed to provide higher quality services to our ESE students. And what did we need to do to make changes to make sure that we could better address our students' needs. That committee met once a month and then made the recommendation to the group that we needed to expand those advisory meetings. So this current school year, from August 24 to currently now, it will continue through the rest of this school year. The ESE department decided part of the updates were to provide services regionally from Community 1, Community 2, Community 3, and Community 4. And so we have an advisory committee from each of those communities, and there's somewhere between these representatives, there's at least 10 folks from each of those communities that participate there, and in some cases, many more than 10. But this way, we have representation from every single region of the district. The prior year, we found that the representation was from primarily the east side of the county, and the needs are very different on the east side of the county than they were of the west side part of the county. So that's why the 4 regions have 4 separate advisory meetings, and then those 4 groups come together as a whole. And those meetings are held also on a monthly basis and have been providing input to all of these updates, reflections, what's happening in the trenches, what will make it better for our students, our teachers, our families, and so forth, to provide better quality experiences. So part of all of this made us realize that we cannot do this alone to find out what all is happening within our district with ESE. So that's where the external audit of from the Education Resource Strategies Company came in. We needed a completely unbiased review of what was happening within our district to take a look at our resources, our structures, and our practices so that all students, especially those with the greatest learning needs and those furthest from opportunity to attend a school where they can learn and thrive and have our best resources restructured. So you can see they've done work across the entire nation, very reputable. We wanted to make sure that we weren't saying, well, we want to do it this way because we know this way works, and we were not making it up ourselves. We wanted to make sure we brought some experts in. So the goal of this ESE resources group, their audit and deep dive analysis was to enable us to better understand how the district currently allocates and uses our resources to serve our ESE students through our various service models across the district as a whole and across and within our schools. They were to help us better understand enrollment and identification patterns and trends of ESE students in our district and the service models that they experience. Specifically, specific examples are the self-contained setting versus the inclusion setting. To reflect on how patterns of ESE resource allocation and use, enrollment and identification and service models compared to our peer districts, best practices, and our district priorities. And to create a fact base, unbiased fact base for SDOC to use as the foundation for decision making regarding effective and efficient ESE resource use. So with that, this analysis was done in the fall. They used our 23-24 student enrollment by program type. What you see on the far right of that chart is showing the total number of students from the 23-24 school year, which was almost 7,500 students. And the very top line shows the VE students, which would be in the inclusion model. And then the bar graph across are the students that would be in the self-contained or separate class setting. And you can see the 62% of our students, generally it's about the same this school year, but for this particular study, 62% of our students are in the fully inclusive model with the VE setting, and the remaining 38% in some sort of separate class. That far left bar, that is the tallest, is the highest percentage of students in a separate class setting that are actually in a separate self-contained program but expected to meet the best general ed standards. And there's a variety of other settings there, but you can see that was 9.3% last school year, and that was approximately 700 students on that particular bar, and then the rest are all different separate class settings there. So while all this was happening, some actions had been occurring since April last school year. So from the very first district advisory meeting and the ongoing advisory input in April, we charged schools, we engaged schools, we had ongoing conversations for schools to plan for increasing their inclusive opportunities for those students in that separate class setting to prepare for the upcoming school year. And so we had them identify the professional learning needs, the program service models, and engage we reactivated the district initiated and supported inclusive scheduling process, which means for those of us that are in education, we know what that means, but what that means to help everybody else understand is we take the needs of students with IEPs and provide a scheduling process to make sure their services are scheduled first before any other student in the entire school, and make sure that the schedule is set up for success to meet their needs, and so that we can match the right people to the right services. So to get ready for the opening of the school year, there was ongoing professional learning opportunities provided specific to these updates. And then since August through now, we have been monitoring very closely with the school teams, school leadership teams, the principals, having discussions with the advisory committees about monitoring the changes and updates to the least restrictive environment, encouraging schools to work on providing that transition throughout this school year and not wait until the upcoming school year. Having monthly updates with administration through our principal meetings, individual school data meetings, those monthly advisory committee updates, and monthly RCS meetings and more. Those are to just highlight a few of the things that we've done. Since then, since we've rolled out, we have now had additional actions and updates we wanted to share. The 3 teachers, staff Q&A sessions in person at 3 of our high schools. We do have a new frequently asked questions document that will be uploaded to our district website. It's not fully updated yet. We've got a lot of great feedback from there. We've engaged with parent calls and with the ESE department, one-to-one parent meetings with the superintendent, myself, our chief of staff, Dr. Allen, and Ms. DeLuca, director of ESE. We've provided additional hubs based on this feedback. We have realized that we have the need to add the separate class setting hubs, very, very specific to regional and the space and quantity, to add some, move what was in one, going to go to one location to limit some of the drive, and we were able to make it work to add to St. Cloud Elementary School and St. Cloud Middle School. We've been able to meet parents' choice options when available and have honored those when feasible. And the hub school leadership team meetings and inclusive scheduling has begun. So what is happening with the ESE team is they have gone to meet with the individual leadership teams at the schools and provide everything that that entire leadership team will need to know to launch a successful school year, what they need for their inclusive scheduling model, what they need for their allocations and resources, and to make sure they know which targeted professional learning can be provided to their school, to their teachers, specific to their needs with their program from now until the end of the school year, into the summer, and then to get launched for the new school year. And updates will continually be added to the district ESE website. Only some have been added so far. Okay, so I am going to now move into hopefully dispelling some myths that are out there with what the facts are. They're very close, but people take the information. We understand that without all the information personally, one-to-one, people try to put the pieces together to what meets their individual needs and concerns, and we really and truly have the desire to help figure out how we can communicate more clearly. So one way we're going to do this is through some myths that we have heard that have come straight to us, and to let the public see and hear what the fact is out there. So the first one is all plans are final and the district is unwilling to hear the concerns of families and teachers. That has been a statement that's been out there, which is the opposite. The fact, just a few data points for the fact is we are inviting, asking anybody to come and have an individual phone call or individual meetings if you are not satisfied at your school level. And so far, the ESE department has fielded 145 specific calls to these changes, and we have facilitated 10 individual meetings with families. The results of the calls and the meetings are most have been resolved via the phone call because they've been able to determine what is related to their individual situation and get those questions answered. It's very individual. We may have a system and a structure, but everybody's situation is very individual, and it takes an individual conversation to work through what that is. So those are really valuable to us, as well as the feedback from the families has been very positive. The individual family meetings as well, and we work to problem solve solutions with transportation concerns, coursework, career and CTE pathways, as well as that contributed to us opening additional hub sites, shifting some hub sites actually. The next myth is the new ESE program following the Orange County Public Schools model? Great question. So the fact is that we are following the FLDOE, Florida Department of Education, their model structures which are the bases that all surrounding Central Florida districts, as well as all districts in the state of Florida, follow. It's driven by statute, with districts being required to submit ESE policies and procedures documents, and we have to do what is called a BPI assessment, which is the best practices for inclusive education. We have to do that internal assessment, school by school and district-wide, and so we are following the requirements of those documents. The Bureau for Exceptional Education and Student Services support from the DOE is also a guide on the side, a resource to us. They ensure that we are implementing these things. We've reviewed model structures from surrounding school districts. That is a fact. And one of those has been Orange County. But we've really leaned into Seminole and Pasco County models because they have very successful models that we are able to lean into their lessons learned and make sure that we aren't doing something that is made up or without evidence. So we did also visit the two separate day schools that are in Orange County, which is a part of the continuum of services that we don't currently have in our district. And so for exploration purposes, we went to the Magnolia School and to Silver Pines, which are in the same location. They're two separate schools. They have the same entrance, but they serve two different purposes. So we did visit there. The next myth that we've heard is all students with disabilities will be mainstreamed into the general education setting and ESE students will be losing services. That is as far from what we desire. We are working very hard to ensure that everybody has the services that they are entitled to within their IEP. So I'll reference back to the two distinctive enhancements that are occurring to increase the inclusive opportunities as required by the least restrictive environment and ensure that students continue to receive supports and services identified in the IEP, but within a general education setting for portions of the day, which would be with the ESE supports, with the push-in service or the pull-out service. And then, which is the students who are sitting currently in those best separate classes who are expected to meet the general education standards. We are also hubbing the separate class settings so that we have enhanced services for students due to the concentrated supports assigned to the hub locations. We will be able to provide higher quality services because those supports will be concentrated in those locations instead of being spread thin across 55 plus schools within our district. We'll have a better concentration of our highly qualified human capital, which is a great commodity these days, limiting our long-term substitutes and paraprofessionals, covering many vacancies across the district, and it will be a fluid process to alleviate movement to multiple schools. We've got support services, those ancillary services of things like occupational therapy, physical therapy, registered behavior technicians who, instead of serving schools across all 55, across our entire district, they will be able to have concentrated supports to provide higher quality services and hubs in all 4 regions for most of the program service models. Another fact is the transition from the separate class all day to general education setting in the 40 to 79% model. That percentage equates to the time with their non-disabled peers where they have been spending their entire day in a separate class, where they would actually start in a regular class homeroom and then have services within the homeroom in the push-in model with the ESE certified teachers in the general education classroom, and then also with pull-out time. That 40 to 79% of the time would be students being removed from the classroom to a separate, smaller setting to have their very specific services provided by those ESE certified folks. Okay, the next myth is actions are being taken to consolidate ESE classes in SDOC, negatively impacting children who rely on structure, familiarity, and individualized support, which is the exact opposite of what we're working towards to positively impact and enhance structure, familiarity, and individualized support. We know in the places where it is going very well, it is hard to accept change, but when we are implementing this change, we are committed to guaranteeing that this is a high-quality experience. The enhanced services for students are, again, for concentrated supports assigned to the hub locations with concentrated instructional and support allocations, potentially fewer grade levels in one classroom at a time. Examples include the amount of time and availability of those ancillary services that I just mentioned. And again, all those things that I just mentioned prior. The next myth is staff are losing their jobs or will leave due to these changes. And the fact is, in our current vacancies across the district all year long, 25% of these current district-wide vacancies are ESE related in our core instructional units. That is a great challenge. We will be able to overcome this challenge. Our school district HR team is also working together with school principals currently right now to ensure that there is a smooth transition in placement of these folks. If they are not able to serve in their current schools, they will be serving across our district throughout these programs. The next myth is staff will be untrained and unsupported to implement these shifts. I have mentioned a little bit about professional learning, but the fact is there's a lot of support and training that has been planned for this transition. And we've had the staff question and answer sessions, which have been very helpful to inform what teachers feel is the need, their needs will be, and very enlightening. The hub site meetings that I mentioned before that the ESE leadership team is meeting with the school-based leadership teams. Those are occurring from March 31st through May 1st. The staffing model adjustments, we have added access separate class hub sites also at the St. Cloud Elementary and St. Cloud Middle School. The inclusive scheduling process, which I mentioned earlier also, is happening at all schools, for all schools, facilitated by our ESE department from April 2nd through May 1st. And then last week, the team released the professional learning catalog that is specific to trainings for providing ESE services. And this is for general education teachers as well as all of the ESE teachers and support for anybody at the school providing any supports. This is a menu that is 26 pages long, very specific to, with options that are very specific to what the individual school will be able to say, this is what my school needs for our students and our situation. There is no one-size-fits-all approach. There are one-size-fits-all topics, but the approach will be very individualized. And then we will also have additional summer professional learning and then ongoing training throughout next school year. And so what we said we were going to do is in progress, and we're going to continue those things that we said we were going to do. The district next steps and the school next steps remain the same, but they are on an individual as we get feedback. We will continue with the communication district-wide. We will support transitions for students and staff that might be switching schools. We take this very seriously. It's very important to us to take very good care of our families and good care of our teachers and staff that may be having a transition. Transitions are hard for everybody, but exponentially hard for students with challenges and families that deal with the challenges every single day. So we take it very seriously and are very committed to making sure it's a smooth transition. We want to ensure that all separate class school locations have the appropriate equipment, the resources, curriculum, and teams identified and trained in those support classrooms. before the first day of school. All of that is occurring now so that we can be ready for the first day of school. The inclusive scheduling, the parent calls, and continually adding to our resources. That is occurring at the district level and the school level. And board, we are happy to take any questions that you may have at this time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Dr. Clayton. Thank you, Hillary. First, I just want to acknowledge that we know that change is difficult. Change management can be challenging, and just based on feedback that you received the last week before us and very quickly thereafter, you all did everything possible to be able to smooth out your communication and make sure that you are reaching out to our stakeholders, our families, and our teachers and students. So I just want to give you a shout out and thank you so much for taking feedback, initiating conversations, and making sure that everyone was taken care of. I love the data. Dr. Chanel, thank you for your statement on accountability. That's really important. My question is really surrounding the transportation piece. A lot of the questions that we've received from our families are regarding the transportation piece, specifically with families that have students that may be attending one school and they might be one of the families who will be attending the hub locations. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Absolutely, yes. That has been a frequently asked question for us as well. And students with disabilities have the opportunity for specialized door-to-door transportation. And then we are allowing siblings to join that participation or transportation and participate at the new school site if they so wish. They aren't required to. If they choose to do that, we are ready to provide that transportation.
So siblings will be able to participate in choice in the school that their sibling is in? Okay.
For 99.9% of the cases, there's always that one special little.
Potential.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Those are all the questions I have tonight.
I don't have any questions, but I do just want to make a statement. I do want to encourage the families who have not done so yet to set up the one-on-one meetings if you still have questions related to your specific situation, your specific concerns. I know that the one-on-one meetings that have taken place so far seem to have very fruitful outcomes, and I think that it will be beneficial to you as parents of these students to make sure that you have the best outcome for your child moving forward. My goal as a board member has always been to advocate for all of our students in our district. And I know that sometimes that means supporting something that is a difficult change while challenging in this short-term situation. It will promise better outcomes for the greatest number of students in the long run. And I really do believe that. I believe our team has worked tirelessly. I think Mr. Cook said some great things about innovation and really pushing the needle on what's best for our students. And again, I get it. Change is hard for some people. I, for one, embrace change. I'm good with change. I can accept it. I can move on and do it. But I get it that other people, it takes a little more time to get behind something and really embrace it. But I really do encourage you to set up those one-on-one meetings. I was talking with someone privately offline, and they told me there was 50 moms out there that are concerned and struggling with this. And I said, our team will meet with all 50 moms. I will meet with all 50 moms if you want me to be there and meet with you as well. I will be there. I'll sit there, I'll listen, I'll hear your concerns, and I will help in whatever way I can to make sure that your needs are met and your children have the best outcome next year. So please take us up on that offer and come meet with us. Ms. Garcia, you are recognized. Oh, maybe I put you on accident when I was saying like, all right, any other questions from the board? Oh, I just have a comment. I think your button must be coming up soon, Ms. Garcia. So, Ms. Bronson, you are recognized.
I just have a few concerns about the ESE updates and how they were handled. We need to be more transparent with our parents and be building that trust. And the communication should be engaging, open, and clear. And we need to be having collaborative conversations with our educators and our students. And especially when it is something that when it's regarding decisions that are impacting all of our children. As a teacher, a year and a half ago, I heard rumors that there was going to be some ESE changes, and there was nothing definite. I, as an educator, had no idea this was coming down the pipeline. And now I'm a board member, and I'm gonna be honest, didn't know it was coming. And 2 days before the last board meeting, I was presented with that very first PowerPoint. And I just, as a board member and as an educator, I did not feel set up for success. So I can't imagine how the parents have to feel.
That's right.
As an educator, I've been taught to use data to drive my instruction. And then this very first PowerPoint only had this little tiny bit of data. And if you Google separate class data from DOE, it comes up from the state of Georgia. And it doesn't have all this information in it, which is very concerning to me. It wasn't clearly labeled. I had been told that the ranking was for 79 was how many was our county number, how many counties were in Florida, and that would be 67.
Yeah.
But really what the 79 stood for, I had to do my own due diligence here, and it was public and charter schools. It included virtual, alternative, charters, public, elementary, middle, high, and multi-grade. And I think that the parents weren't aware that the county had done some research. I had to ask for this to be printed for me and given. It is the data that we paid for to have done. And I feel like the parents would feel more support and have a better understanding of the changes if they had been able to see this data. So that's another thing. I will also say this, before spring break, right after the last meeting, I did contact Dr. Shanoff, and we talked about that in District 5, we needed a meeting for parents and for staff. And he was willing to listen to that, and we talked some more and had decided we would do a separate meeting for just the staff, have 3 separate meetings, and then parents would be able to meet one-on-one, either phone conference or in person. And we had collaborated on that, and I thought that was a pretty good alternative. That way you could get the one-on-one questions that you had. Overall, I just think that we're always talking about how we want public education to thrive. And we have to be open with to our families. We have to be honest with our teachers. And if we're willing to take their tax dollars, this dialogue has to be. That's Just one more thing. Parents and educators, I am a parent and an educator, and we just have like an invaluable insight, and just to be included in the conversation means a lot. And I like just to have that opportunity to share what your thoughts are. And I just want to say, please take advantage of a phone conference or a one-on-one meeting with our staff. I have met with them about 4 times. This last time I made a list of about 20 questions, and they sat with me for over an hour and we went through everything. So if you need support or you need help, that we're here for you. That's it.
I just have one last question. I know we're looking at other models and we are looking specifically at Pasco and Siegel. How is it that we define success? Like, how do we know that they're successful? That they have successful program implementation?
Their overall scores are higher than ours, but when we're looking at least restrictive environment, they're being able to serve students in the general ed setting more with better results.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we are moving on to agenda modifications. Dr. Shanoff.
Yeah, we have one agenda modification. We have the personnel agenda is our one sheeted item based on some updates from human resources.
Thank you. I do want to make note that I was told today from our human resources director that these blue sheeted items for human resources might come more frequently now that we are at one meeting a month. So just for the board to know and the community know that the blue sheeted item is just because of changes that happen from one meeting to the next related to staff and some issues that staff may be going through. So that is something to know for the public and our board moving forward. Ms. Garcia, any agenda modifications? Mr. Cook?
No modifications.
Ms. Castillo?
Not ma'am.
Ms. Bronson? Nope. All right, with that, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as modified with the one new sheet item?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I have a motion by Mr. Cook.
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Garcia. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. That we are on to 13.01.
Motion to approve item 13.01.
I have a motion by Ms. Castillo.
Second.
A second by Mr. Cook. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 13.02.
Motion to approve 13.02.
Motion by Ms. Castillo.
I second.
Second by Mr. Cook. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 14.01.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Castillo.
I second.
Second by Ms. Bronson. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 15.05. Motion to approve all regular submitted items in 15.
Motion to approve 15.05.
Motion by Ms. Castillo.
I second.
Second by Mr. Cook. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 16.03. A motion to approve all regular items in 16.
Motion to approve all items in 16.
Motion by Mr. Cook, a second by Ms. Garcia. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. We are now open for public comment. I do want to remind the community, we do have quite a few here. If we can make sure to please keep any applause to a minimum so that we can have every person heard and represented during their conversation. First up is Ms. Debbie Zook. Ms. Debbie Zook. We're gonna move on to the next one and I'll call. We can't hear you.
Here's Debbie.
I will come back to people if we skip and move on because of where they're at.
Good evening, school board and community members, ESE parents and families. My name is Debbie Zook and I have been a teacher in Osceola County for a little over 3 decades. I have also been in ESE most of the time. I am pleased that such a large group of people are taking an interest in making education better for our ESE students in Osceola County. I have seen many programs come, go, different changes, many things happen. As I was listening out here in the lobby, I think at this point, I have never seen the school board put as much effort from so many people into the ESE program. And for that, I am absolutely pleased and I can't say enough about that. Our greatest concerns have been over the years is that we provide the full continuum of services for our students so that the school board is adding a center school is just phenomenal because our students don't have to leave anymore. They stay with us. They are our kids. They stay in Osceola County. They can also then be provided the most intensified services because that's what those students need. They need a different environment. So providing them that is not only great for having the full continuum, but it ensures that our staff and our students and our faculty are safe because some of these students cannot thrive in large environments. They have to have something smaller. So for that, I would like to say thank you. In addition to that, these other little areas, we're calling them hubs. We don't want hubs to be hideaways. And I know that that is not your take, but that is what some people feel. Exceptional students have been tucked away for many years. The history has always been there for that. So we want to make sure that the hubs are fluid, that they allow our students to flow through the continuum as they best need, so that the hub is not defining the student. So for that, we need to be cautious, very, very cautious. Some of the other concerns that others have had, and I have had too, was longer bus rides, but you're tackling that. You're putting things in place. Our kids ride buses too long. They can't take all these changes that everyone makes. For nonverbal kids to have to go to a bus driver that they don't know. These are big challenges. Removal from their communities is a concern. I know we can't have everything. Both sides must concede. But as you read and listen to what you are all explaining this evening, communities can be developed anywhere. So our kids can fit in any place. It doesn't matter where, they can fit in.
You missed out. If you have additional items, your time is up. Please email them to us so that we can see your additional items.
Perfect, thank you.
Chris Rios.
Hello. I pray that God blesses every family gathered here tonight, including the members of the board gathered before us. Thank you for being here and listening. I pray this community in total heeds the words that I'm about to say. My name is Chris Rios. I'm a father fighting for my nonverbal autistic son, as well as for the 14,000 special needs students in our district who are being betrayed by a system that should be protecting them. I stand here tonight to expose a painful truth. The district's new ESE changes are discriminatory, denying our disabled children choice in Florida schools. To sit here and say that one child who is neurotypical has every opportunity to go wherever he wants in Florida, but my child who is nonverbal and can't talk does not have that right, I think is absolutely illegal and disgusting. The fact that people are sitting on this board and someone came and asked, let me hear questions from the board, and only one person had the insight to actually dig deep into what is wrong with this program and communicate it to these people, that is embarrassing. That is embarrassing for all of you who sit here and smile through teeth happily that this is a great change. It's not. The lovely lady who just spoke, she said a beautiful thing. She was like, you know, these kids, they can't ride a bus the way a regular child would. You can't do that to a child. My hub school that my kid is going to be going to is 26 minutes by GPS. But any parent here knows you get on that road and you head to that school, it's an hour 20.
Yes.
All right? So this farce that, oh, by the way, the school bus is only going to take 45 minutes, we guarantee that. That's a lie. And you are all adults, I assume. You should know this. Am I right? Thank you. All right. If you want to have an idea, everybody, I'm going to talk to the parents here real quick. If you want to have an idea of what's happening with this system right now and what's wrong with it, I'm going to share a story that is connected to these ESE changes in my personal view. I just fought my zone school for 6 months to get my nonverbal son into class. They forgot about him. They didn't contact me. They put me through a rugamaroo. They said, hey, just so you know, we're going to contact you by November because all these assessments and stuff need to be looked at. And he was forgotten. I had to call the school and ask for them to look for him and see what was going on. And then further delays happened. I talked to the principal. I shared my grievances. He said he was not interested in talking about what went wrong. He said that he was not interested in groveling in front of a parent. And I was left with my problems in my hands.
Thank you, Mr. Rios. Your time is up. Wow.
Yeah, I'll be sending the rest of it to you guys, okay? And I'm interested on one-on-one with everyone here to take you up on your offer, okay?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about it.
Yeli Gonzalez. Are you Sarah? Yes, I am.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to be heard tonight. I am Sarah Chumley. I'm a parent of a child who is affected by these changes to ESE. I'm also a member of the Osceola School District team, so I have a great deal invested in our school's success and the success of all of our students. I have a lot to say about the changes to the program, but I'm limiting what I'm going to say to the financial impact on families. Most of us are justifiably concerned about putting our children on a bus. In Community 1, the bus ride could be up to 50 minutes each way or more. For kids with difficulty communicating, a bus simply is not a safe option. Many of us are going to have to drive our kids to and from their hub schools ourselves. In order to do this, if we have more than one school-aged child, we'll have to consider the district-offered childcare if it's available. This can cost a minimum of $2,340 a year. I realize we can move siblings to the hub school, but I guarantee you that those kids will be heartbroken and they will not want to leave their schools or their friends.
Or their teachers.
Or their teachers. We will also have an increase in transportation costs. I use the IRS mileage standard, which is at 70 cents per mile, and it's going to cost me personally in Community 1 $6,048 a year to transport my daughter to and from school so I don't have to put her on a bus. This is a tremendous financial burden that our families will have to bear with very little time to prepare for it. I ask the district and the board to please look beyond the state percentages and see the real life impact these changes are having on families. I hope you will reconsider for the sake of our students and the families. Thank you.
Yeli Gonzalez.
I'm gonna send you guys the extended version of what I had prepared. I did take up the district. I came here yesterday with my husband and my son, and I was ridiculed. I was laughed at for my concerns. And I wasn't planning on sharing any of that out loud, but I'm Yeli, and I'm the proud parent of a young child with autism who receives ESE services through the PEEPS program since he's turned 3. He is currently in an ESE preschool classroom with incredible teachers who know him, see him as an individual, and support him in ways that allow him to grow at his own pace. The district wants to move him into a blended VPK classroom or force us to change schools entirely, away from the only school he's ever known and the teachers who have been instrumental in his development. I cannot begin to tell you what the disruption would mean for my son. This could actually make or break him at his crucial development. He's turning 5 this year.
Yeah.
He does not have the expressive language to tell us if something has gone wrong. He scripts throughout the entire day and drifts off into his own world, needing help to remain present. That's him right there on the floor. What happens to him in a classroom that is not equipped for his needs? Who will protect him when he can't speak up for himself? Yesterday we attended a meeting here where I was told my child's specialized ESE classroom would be eliminated, not because of funding, but due to staff shortages. We were also told that the school admitted 280 out-of-zone students, and that number is expected to grow with new developments. This raises a serious question. How can there be a staff shortage severe enough to eliminate ESE programs while still expanding enrollment? I was also told my child's new teacher who has no ESE classroom experience will be trained over the summer to handle a mixed classroom of 9 neurotypical and 9 neurodivergent students. This violates section 300.156, requiring that my child be taught by qualified personnel, not someone who took a 2-month course to replace a teacher with over 25 years of experience. Because his teacher has been at Harmony since it's opened and has chosen to work with kids with special needs. When I raised my concerns, we were told that he's just a kid and that we're holding him back and keeping him in a box. That we're fearful for no good reason, and I will be giving you names of the people I met with yesterday. No, my son is autistic. He has been pushed, hit, and bullied by his neurotypical peers. He cannot always communicate what happens to him. He doesn't need patience, he needs protection. He doesn't need time, he needs support from people who are trained and qualified to help him succeed. I didn't choose the staff shortage, I didn't choose the district initiative, but you did, and now my son is being pushed out of the very support system he was promised. We believe in inclusion, but when it's done with care, intention, and readiness, not as a blanket policy, not at the expense of vulnerable children who aren't ready and shouldn't be rushed. I urge you to listen to the parents, really listen. Please don't take away the power of IEP teams to make individualized decisions.
Keep going.
Please don't make our children collateral damage in the name of change. I'm asking the board to act, to investigate what's happening, to demand compliance with IDEA, and to restore the services that are being unlawfully and unethically dismantled. These are not just educational decisions, they are legal obligations, and our children are depending on you to get this right, including my soon-to-be 5-year-old.
Yes, Mom.
Thank you.
Eric Gentry.
Good evening. My name is Eric Gentry. I live in St. Cloud. I have a 10-year-old autistic child that is developmentally delayed and can't express himself the way you and I normally speak. I appreciate your comments, Dr. Shanoff, for accepting some of the responsibility. I think 90% of this is lack of communication. We just had a IEP meeting a couple of months ago, and none of this was brought up to us. Maybe there wasn't enough information, I don't know. But there's certainly been other opportunities that we should have been able to get the information. You try to talk to the school board or talk to the school principals or the teachers, and they don't have any information for us, or they're not allowed to give us the information. I'm not exactly sure where that's coming from. But it's a big time concern. The last time my child was moved, he was moved from one elementary school to another to a self-contained class so that he could get the proper care. He ran away probably 5 or 6 times in the first week. They promised us that they wouldn't call us to come get our child because they were trained. They called us 5 or 6 times that first week to come get him. It's very concerning that we're going to make these changes and not be prepared. There's no way you're going to put my child on a bus because he's an elopement concern. He will run off. I have deadbolts inside my house to keep him in. So it's a big time concern for me. I can't put him on a bus and take him to Narcoossee from South St. Cloud. It's not acceptable. So thank you for your comments. Thank you for accepting that. I expect that there's going to be transparency from here. Expect to get some input from us. We did have our meeting with Yolanda and Jesse on Friday. We both parties left there with more questions than we had answers. So I'm very concerned. Thank you, Ms. Bronson, for stating that you got the information. That you only got the information 2 days before last meeting, which is exactly the same thing that we got. That's completely unacceptable. There's lots of emotions here because there are children. They can't accept change. It takes a lot. We have to educate them. We have to give them time to be prepared for that change. And then it's still hard for them. I don't know if you have children that we have, but look at what we're dealing with, just the kids here tonight, of dealing with change. As soon as you change their world, they're out of control. My kid's on multiple medications just to keep him in control. You or I, if we were on the same medications, we'd be over there in the corner drooling like babies just to keep them in control. So all we're asking for is please give us the information. Please open up. Let us talk. Let us ask questions. Let us express. Please give us the information. Tonight I got the most information from that PowerPoint that I've gotten in forever.
And it wasn't much.
So I ask thank you very much and be prepared for more.
Christina Vega Roman. I'll come back to her. Lizette Velez. Lizette Velez. Excuse me.
Good afternoon. My name is Lizette Velez. I live here in St. Cloud. My son, Kevin Flores, was diagnosed in 2013 at the age of 2 years and 4 months old with medulloblastoma, solid brain cancer, stage 4, terminal stage. During the first 2 years of his fight, he went through 2 years of chemotherapy and radiation at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. Unfortunately, after some initial success, treatment did not work. The cancer spread to his spinal cord, causing permanent damage to his spinal cord, which rendered him paralyzed from the chest down. Additionally, the high doses of radiation that the brave doctors at St. Jude tried caused severe development deficits, effectively stopping Kevin from enjoying a full and disease-free life. Kevin is a fighter. He has been fighting for his life for more than 12 years, has been through an ICU twice. We even planned for his funeral 2 times. Fighting for Kevin's life is an everyday thing, and now we find ourselves fighting for his education. This is not right. Enough is enough. We received a phone call that lasts 30 seconds saying, "Hey, did anyone speak to you about Kevin's new school for next year?" I said, "No." And she said, "Well, we want to inform you that Kevin will be at Gateway High School for next year, and he's right now at St. Cloud High School." And it's been 3 weeks after that, and I have zero information, nothing at all. My son Kevin thrived with routines, he thrived with his teacher and few friends, and the proposed changes will be detrimental for his education. Not only that, but we made the exercise, and it will take us between 48 to 56 minutes to ride from our house to school. GPS, and we know what we already talked about that today. We know it's going to take more than an hour, and we can't afford that. With his risk of seizures, the person that called me said, "Oh, you're going to have transportation." It's not an option for us. It's not. What I'm trying to say, I will need to resign my work in order to take care of him. And this will affect not only him, but our family. It will be unsustainable for us. I ask that you reconsider this change that will have very negative effects on the growth of Kevin. We want to help him thrive. So please, we ask that you reconsider this change and give us the chance to provide options as parents. We the parents knows what our children needs. So let's sit together and reach for better option for our children. Thank you.
Was Christina Vega Roman outside when you checked in? Tracy Basham.
Tracy Basham, 2807 Settlers Trail. I just want to start off saying thank you for opening up those 2 extra helpers. But I did write this and I'm going to read it. In enacting IDEA, Congress sought to end the long-standing history of segregating children with disabilities from the public school system. In large part, this allowed families with disabled children to grow up and be educated within their own communities and kept families intact. IDEA also recognizes the importance of the least restrictive environment. It does not mean separating special needs children with the most severe cognitive and physical disabilities from their neighbors, neighborhoods, and more importantly, their siblings, and placing them 30 or even 45 minutes away from their homes, family, friends, and neighbors. In a technical assistance paper released by the FDOE titled LRE Considerations Related to IEPs under the heading The Placement Decision, it says, the following factors should be considered as placement decisions are made. The very first entry states, The student is educated in the school that he or she would attend if non-disabled. IDEA states that placement decisions based solely on the following are prohibited: category of disability, severity of disability, availability of services, availability of space, and administrative convenience. Hub schools put the burden of being able to access neighborhood schools on the student who is seen as having deficits rather than encouraging schools to create systems designed to benefit all students. Language in the Hub designations divide students by behavior, learning styles, and physical abilities. Such descriptions lead educators to consider special ed as a group program based on type or severity of disability. This provides a rationale for taking away opportunities from students and assumes a hierarchy for who may attend their neighborhood school or school of choice. Special education is not a location. Taken as a whole, it is easy to see how you have designed a restrictive setting for the most vulnerable in violation of IDEA requirements and separating some of the already most burdened families from their communities and each other. Siblings play a vital role in supporting their brother or sister with a disability, both academically and socially. For students with special needs, attending the same schools fosters a strong bond, provides a built-in support system, creates shared experiences, and promotes social development. Thank you for giving that back to me today.
Courtney Bryant. Kimberly Bryant.
Good evening, members of Osceola County School Board Superintendent and fellow parents. My name is Kimberly Bryant, and I'm an ESC grandparent of a child with autism. She is speech delayed and nonverbal, and she has social and behavioral disabilities. She has significant cognitive and behavioral needs. I'm here because I'm deeply worried about the 2025-26 ESC proposal presented on March 11th by Hillary DeLuca. As a grandparent, I want what's best for my child, a free, appropriate public education in their least restrictive environment, as promised by federal law. But this plan, with its push for more inclusion and fewer separate class options, feels like it's putting district goals ahead of my child's individual needs. I'm not alone in this concern. Many ESC parents feel blindsided. Tonight, I'll explain why this proposal may violate the law and why we need answers before it moves forward. FAPE and individual needs. Let's start with the heart of special education law, the Individual with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA. IDEA guarantees my child a free, appropriate public education, FAPE tailored to their unique needs through an IEP. My child thrives in a enclosed or a constrictive setting, a separate class with trained staff who manage their frequent behavior and crisis. The Supreme Court in Andrew F. versus Douglas County 2017 said an IEP must enable progress appropriate to a child's circumstances, not just minimal benefit. But this proposal pushes for 40 to 79% of their day in general education and consolidates separate classes into regional hubs. For my child, that could mean less support, longer travel, and disrupted progress. How is that appropriate? The data in your proposal shows Osceola County at 95% separate class placements, higher than the state's 13.37%. You aim to hit 12.7%, but that's a number, not my child. My child isn't a statistic to be squeezed into a general classroom
or shipped to a hub. IED doesn't let you sacrifice FAPE for Target. I need proof this plan won't regress my child's hard-earned gains. Thank you.
Daniel Herrero. Or Marrero, maybe? Sorry.
My students do the same. Sorry, one number. My name is Daniel Herrero. I am, my address is 2870 Sonata Court, St. Cloud, Florida, 34772. Oops, sorry. Good evening, Dr. Shanna, school board members. I'm here tonight as both a teacher in the district and a parent of a third grader who is an ESC student as well. I'm here to comment on the proposed changes, like a lot of the other parents here. They're going to take effect in 4 months. Let's think about that for a second. 4 months. I'm going to talk a lot about the timing because that is important to me. I think our district needs to reconsider how we're approaching this program. I use an example any teacher or parent can relate to. Sometimes you identify a gap, something your student or your kid needs to learn, and you think like, what do I need to do to get them to learn that, right? So we think about lesson plans and all that stuff, and you craft the best lesson that you can to teach that kid. Sorry, I just lost my place. I normally have my papers, but I wanted to respond. So sometimes you have that perfect lesson plan and you start to teach it and you get immediate feedback, right? Which is that the glassy-eyed look, right? That your kids give you. And I'm a middle school teacher, so I'm very familiar with that face. And that's when you know you gotta change your plan. You have to change how you're gonna teach this to the kids to get them to where they need to be. And I'm not talking about the objective being the way we communicate this to parents. I'm talking about reducing, having more inclusion, having better outcomes for our kids. That's the objective, right? How we get there, how we teach it is really the plan that we have as a district to get there. I think it's okay for us to revise the plan, and I feel like the district is open to that. I'm glad at least that you guys have been willing to have conversations with the teachers and clarify that things aren't final. How much is going to be final or not, I don't know, but that's why we're here. We want to talk about it. I do want to say I believe this model could be beneficial. My son is one of the kids that's going to be impacted by this, but he's staying at school. He's staying there, and his IP team is amazing. And we talked about the resources and getting them for him. And that worked for us. But you can hear there's so many parents that don't have that choice. And that's why I'm here, I wanted to cry at that IP meeting when they told me we're going to get Andy that one-to-one. I didn't think I would ever be able to get that from a boy. And there's a lot of parents who don't have that choice. Again. Oh my gosh.
You can send the rest of your commentary by email.
Can I say one last thing?
One last thing, we just have a lot
Sure.
of folks that are coming in.
I have 171 students this semester. 39 of them have IEPs. There's one accommodation that's on every single one of them. It's extended time for tests and for assignments. We're giving everyone else 4 months to get ready for this change. Let's at least consider 8.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alyssa Taylor, and I stand here today not just as a parent, but as a voice for the thousands of families in Osceola County who feel like the ground, who feel like the ground beneath us has shifted. On March 11th, 2025, Hillary DeLuca, our district's Director of Exceptional Student Education, stood before the school board and outlined a plan that will change the lives of our children, our most vulnerable children, starting this August. And I'll be honest with you, when I heard those words, my heart sank. It sank because I know what this means for my child. It sank because I know what this means for so many of yours. Let me tell you about my child, Logan. He's 11 years old. He has autism. He's nonverbal. And routine is his anchor. His school, his safe place, is 5 minutes from our home. This August, they're sending him to a hub school about 40 minutes away. We toured the school. We took the drive back and forth. It's more than 40 minutes. That's 80 minutes at least a day on a bus or in a car, away from his teachers who know him, the classroom where he finally found his footing. They say Osceola has too many kids, 20% of our ESE students in self-contained classrooms, compared to the state's 13.4%. They say that's a problem, but to me that's not a statistic, that's my son's life. That's his stability, and they're taking it away because change is uncomfortable. Uncomfortable? For Logan, it's not discomfort, it's chaos. It's life-altering. You're taking away his choice. You're taking away part of his village. My son is so much more than his IEP. Yes, he's a little loud, he makes a lot of noise, and he laughs a whole lot. But for the first time in 12 years, thanks to the school that he's been in, my son is verbal. My son said the word mama to me for the first time. And that's because of the team he has at the school we chose to put him in. And it's been nothing but a blessing in disguise for his team, his educational team, his IEP team. With this new change, my son's grouping got changed. He's in a supported setting. His IEP team continued recommending he stay in a supported setting. The new school he was supposed to go to, which is just changed based on the changes that were presented today, recommended that he stay in supported. Yet the district saw one factor about him, that he has a small medical need, and changed him to participatory. And the way that translates to us is there's not much expectancy for him to excel beyond just life skills. My son thrives on routine. He's able to follow a visual schedule. He's able to match objects. Those are things he was not able to do less than a year ago. And that's thanks to his amazing teachers. Thank you, Ms. Allen, whether you're here or whether you're watching online. I want you to just know, and I know my time is up, and remember my son, remember his face, remember all of our faces, and remember that he's so much more than data, more than a statistic, and more than his IEP. And this change is not just hurtful to him, it's pivotal, and it can truly hurt him for the rest of his life. Thank you.
Jose Velez Garcia.
Hi, my name is Jose. My son Draco. My son is staying in the school that we wanted, but a lot of his friends are moving. I just have one question. Let's start again. A lot of regular kids, it's easy for them to adjust the change of another classroom, another friends, another. How do you say that in ambiente? How do you say ambiente in English? Environment. Thank you. For them, it's not that easy. See, they only have a group of friends. None of the regular kids, or most of them, don't accept them. And now you want to put them in a different school for them to adopt, make new friends, make new environment. Did I say it correct? Thank you. So instead of changing regular kids, or you don't start changing regular kids to another schools. That is my question. It's easy for them to accept the change than my kid. So if it's easy for you to change them, why you don't change the other ones too?
That's right.
See, we move to where we live right now, so he is close to this school. So we are not 20, 30 minutes away. And a lot of these parents do the same, and now they have to drive or send the kids to the school bus. all he wanted to do is hug people. If he sat next to somebody that doesn't want to be hugged, what is going to happen to him? When he was 5 years old, we have it in a school bus. And one day he didn't want to get into the school bus. You know why? Because he came home with bruises. Somebody in the school bus hit him. And I have to drive him every single day from the house to the school. What is going to happen to these kids when something like that happens to them? To the parents? It's easy for the regular kids to accept change. So move them. Or 50-50. Why have to be them? You wanna say something?
Oh, what do you say?
You wanna say hi?
Hi, my name's Rocco.
Have a nice day.
Elizabeth Cox Velez Garcia. Elizabeth
Hey, take it easy. You gonna stand here? Okay, you gonna start dancing? Good evening, everyone. My name is Elizabeth, and I stand here today not just as a parent, but as a voice for thousands of families in Osceola County who feel like the ground beneath us has shifted. On March 11, 2025, Hillary DeLuca and our district's Director of Exceptional Student Education stood before the school board and outlined a plan that will change the lives of our children, our most vulnerable children, starting this August. And I'll be honest with you, when I heard those words, my heart sank. It sank because I knew what this meant for my child. It sank because I know what this means for so many of yours. They call it inclusion. They call it hub schools. They say it's about giving our children, our 13,000 students with disabilities every chance to thrive alongside their peers. And I want to believe that. I want to believe that Superintendent Mark Shanoff and Ms. DeLuca have our kids' best interest at heart when they say this is transformational. But right now, all I feel is fear. Fear that this plan, with its numbers and percentages and state averages, doesn't see my child. It doesn't see the little boy who thrives on routine, who clings to the familiar like a lifeline, who will now be asked to board a bus. Well, actually, that's not us, but whatever. But a lot of them are going to have to board a bus. And if it was him, he couldn't board a bus. So that's true. And to a school he's never known. He's been with the Harmony group for the last 7-8 years. So he wouldn't know anybody. It doesn't seem to, it doesn't see the little boy whose meltdowns last 45 minutes, whose teacher might not have the training or time to help her, or through a room full of 25 other kids. Let me tell you about my child, Draco. He is 14, and he has had multiple surgeries. He has been out multiple years out of school because of his surgeries and because of his thing. Routine is his anchor. He cannot. You'd never know he had open heart surgery. You'd never know it. Right?
Oh, yeah, baby.
But he thrives on routine. He has to have routine every day. Otherwise, it's meltdown after meltdown after meltdown. Putting him through something else is going to be harder on our family already. It's not easy every single day, and you've just added hours in the car that we don't need, discipline that he shouldn't have to go through, and it's going to put our situation to be intolerable. Say goodbye.
Joanne Castro.
Hi, good evening. This is very uncomfortable for me. Public speaking is not my thing. But as I always said, I am the voice of my child, so that's why I'm here. My name is Joanne. I'm here of a mother of one happy and special girl. Her name is Emma. I am very upset and extremely disappointed. On March 11, we were given news that over 13,000 kids in our county will be displaced and put on hubs. If I wanted my child to go to a different school, I would move to that community. I bought my house with looking at school, looking at the area. I'm a taxpayer. I selected the school based on that. My child is 6 years old. She's been on East Lake since she was 3. We love it. It's a rarity that we have 2 ESE teachers that have been there over 10 years, doing an excellent job. Again, thank you, Mr. Chamberlain. They've been doing an excellent job. Implementation has been a problem, and thank you for acknowledging that. I know changes will happen, but what happened with adding us? You're affecting a population that is already under a lot of stress. There's a lot of logistics that involves the care of our kids. And just one move requires us changing everything. I am literally in front of my school. Can I go 30 minutes away? If that's what I need to do for a better school, I will. But that's not the case here. The best school for my child is where she's at, where she's thriving. Like everybody says, she's 6 years old. She's on that big window, big changes. She's already saying more words. She's fully potty trained. She follows structure. She's doing excellent, but she's still nonverbal. For parents that have nonverbal kids, safety is the number one worry that we have. I'm gonna be honest, inclusion is not on my top 5. Maybe later on, which is the middle school and high school, but right now, safety is the big issue. I am not putting my child on a bus with people that I don't know to show up an hour later. They're nonverbals, a lot of these kids are nonverbal. We cannot count on just trust the personnel because we hear terrible stories of what's going on with our autistic kids. Please pause this. We're not saying that this, there's short staff and this is what's going on. How we look into adequately paying ESE teachers and their parents, maybe incentivize teachers that want to take the ESE sponsorship and move to that area. But a lot of the general teachers do not want some of these kids in their classroom. They don't know how to handle them.
That's right.
So we're disrupting 2 populations, our kids and the general population as well, because now you're gonna have a teacher with 25 kids dealing with this type of care here with the regular kids, and then have to emphasize also in the ESC. So both populations are not going to be taken care of. Please pause this. Add a parent advocacy group so we can discuss the pros and cons, and then we can implement it. But 4 months from now, that is not enough time.
Not possible.
Thank you.
Right.
Amen.
Daryl Greenwood.
Before my time starts, I'll introduce myself, but before my time starts, we cannot hear you in the back of the room. When they open the door, we can hear the
Doing my
intercom.
best to speak as loud as I can. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm doing my best to speak as loud as I'm talking.
Well,
I'm
is
sorry.
the microphone working? No, the microphone isn't working. That's the
Mic is
problem.
on. It's
Well, not working. Yeah, it's
not
not,
working at all.
it's not working in here.
All
right.
Hear someone typing.
Come on. Come on. My name is Daryl Greenwood, and I live in St. Cloud. And this gentleman standing next to me is the reason I am here tonight. This is Mason Steigerwald, and some of you may actually know his parents, Mike and Courtney Steigerwald. And I have been advocating for Mason since 2013. We needed an advocate. We couldn't find a right fit advocate, so I went back to school for 2 years and did my training in advocacy. I'm a non-attorney advocate. Mason spent his entire academic career here in Osceola School District. And he had outstanding teachers, and he had not outstanding teachers, we'll just put it that way. And it's been a fight every year until he got to high school. You don't need to jump. Mason, no jumping. And I'm donating my time and my effort to support these families, many of whom are families that I represent here in the district, because I feel so strongly about what is going on with this proposal. When we look at IDEA, and I'm going to read, the old eyes can't see. IDEA was introduced at the federal level to ensure that all students who had special needs were educated to the best of their ability. It states that students who have special needs are to be educated in a school that is as close as possible to the child's home. Further, it states that unless the IEP of a child with a disability requires some other arrangement, this child is educated in the school that he or she would attend if non-disabled. I don't understand how this concept that's being presented meets the requirements of IDEA, number one. Number two, Mason attended St. Cloud High School, had an outstanding opportunity to go to the neurotypical choir. He was in choir all 5 years and stopped. I know, you're flirting. All 5 years, and tonight, as an example, one of your students that's on your student ESE team, or sorry, whatever it is, came in and said, Mason, hi. We go to McDonald's. They go, is that Mason in the car with you? Hi, Mason, it's Joe from choir. He is noticed, he is seen, he is recognized all over this community. And that's what inclusion is all about. I have one more 30-second piece. The families from Celebration High School were here this evening. I think they've already left. But they have written letters from the principal, from the district, saying that all of their children will remain at Celebration High School. Wow. I do not see that on the new structure that came out. And yet I saw one of the letters today. They showed it to me. Wow. So there's a precedence being set there, and the Harmony residents deserve the same acknowledgement. They deserve to have their kids stay in the Harmony community. I thank you. I thank you. And we shall get back. Let's go. You want to say anything? No? All right.
Melissa Van Rokel.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I'm Melissa Van Rokel. I have 2 kids within the school district. I want to offer a little bit of a different take on things than what some of the parents here have been discussing with you guys. My students are no longer currently in the public school system because of incidents that occurred within the ESE department, which I feel like is something that is not talked about enough, and that is the discrepancies and the things that are happening that should be fixed within the school system before dismantling and moving these kids around to cause more conflict. We found out that my son, who is autistic, ADHD, and then has just recently diagnosed with epilepsy, was being mistreated within his school system. He has behavioral issues, but scores wonderfully. He's very intelligent, he is verbal, but he is autistic, and he can find difficulties within the classroom, gets very disengaged, and can become very angry at times. And I did not know that he was being mistreated until it was brought to my attention via a text message that my son was being put into a contained room at the front of the office with no windows for over 3 hours to complete work as an autistic child without a actual teacher, someone they had just appointed to as an advisor. I found that to be abuse, and we immediately came to the school to address this concern, where we were met with a very hostile principal who immediately told us to leave the premises. We immediately said we wanted to know what was going on with our child, and he repeated that we needed to leave and that we would receive a phone call and that we were harassing the front staff by showing up. If something like that is happening with your child, I'm sure you guys would want to show up to the school to find out why your student is being placed into a room without you knowing. After a heated exchange, we were able to find out they would remove our student, but after that, realized that there was a lot of eloping happening. My son was almost outside the school grounds without my husband and I knowing until it was brought to the principal's attention. There were issues that they were taking pictures of things my son was doing to advocate to putting him into a contained classroom, which he does not need, and that would have been detrimental to his education. I'm just offering a different thing here because I see what these parents are going through, and I know how important the education is within the public school system, but it's flawed, and there's problems already. So dismantling and moving things around is only going to make problems worse. If you have the amount of funding to move all of these therapists, paras, RBTs that travel to these hubs, why not move them to the actual schools where the students are at now and give them the education they need there instead of making it worse? Thank you for your time.
My name's Brian Bennett. I've been up here a lot. I wanted to thank Renee, Dr. Shanoff, Mr. Allen, and Hillary for actually sitting down and having a communication with my wife and I about Michael. And Michael's right here. Michael has CDKL5 deficiency disorder. When he was diagnosed, he was the 8th male child in the entire world that had it. It's super rare. And with that, he requires specialized care. I am thankful that working through with administration here, we were able to come to an understanding of where Michael was going to be, and I think it's going to be the best thing for him this next year. However, and I hate doing this, but Ms. Cahoon, when you said that you thrive on change or that you accept and embrace change, to say that to these families is insulting.
It is.
And it's terrible. This child right here, if we ask him to change his routine, and by that I mean, when is nap time? When do we get diaper changes? Anything like that causes us to have an absolute meltdown. He'll start destroying things in the house. He will hurt himself. He will harm himself. And that is not an unusual thing for these kids. So to say that change is unavoidable, yes, it is. We try as hard as we can to minimize the amount of change that these kiddos have to go through. 100%. So I don't know if any of you on the school board have a mentally handicapped child. I know some of you have family members that are autistic, but it is really hard. It is really, really hard to deal with these kids. I didn't ask for this. What I wanted was 2 neurotypical children that were able to throw a baseball with me and to express themselves. And what I've got is a child that can't talk. He can't express anything about what he needs. He can't tell me when he's getting abused at school. Which, again, I've been up here before and explained what happened. But that is what all of these parents are afraid of. Any of us that have a nonverbal child, to put them in a new setting where we're not comfortable with them is absolutely crippling fear. Michael's staying where he's at. We're good. We've addressed my family's concerns. I would ask all of the parents, take advantage. Talk with Dr. Shanoff, talk with the rest of them. Let them know what your specific needs are. Because if you let them know what your specific needs are, they can be addressed. I love living here. I absolutely love living here. And I chose my house because it was strategically between the high school I wanted and the hospital that my son needs.
Yes.
So if he were to get moved, and again, we're not getting moved, but if he were to get moved, that would take all of the investment, all of the work that I did to find that out for my son, and it would take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. To our attorney's report or legal issues. I do not have a report this evening. Thank you. We are on to board member comments and committee reports. Do we have any board member comments or committee reports?
No comments.
No comments?
No comments.
Nothing?
How many of you are up there? No comments.
This is not an open discourse comment area.
I'd like to hear you though.
So on our agenda, this is for committees that we're a part of. So we all are assigned different committees within the district. So this part of the agenda item is for us to update on that. Public comment that you all just did is a chance for you to speak to us. It's not a two-way communication. So that's why we've said at the end of each of your 3 minutes, if you've had additional things to say, please send that to us. And at that time, we can have a conversation with you. But public comment is not for us to converse with you.
I want your
One way. There is not a time in this agenda for us to have a comment with you back in regards to public comment.
Is there no
We don't need to talk.
empathy? Is
We
there
can
no
just hear your
empathy
comments.
at all?
Dr. Shannon, go
Thank
ahead.
you.
There's no empathy.
I appreciate everything that's been said this evening. I listened to all the comments. I've read all the emails. I've read a lot of the social media posts. And I really encourage those of you that have not come in to speak with us to come in and speak with us. We are willing to listen to you. We are willing to work through these challenges as best we can. I think that there is still some inaccurate information that is circulating. And I think that between reconciling what has been presented today with some of the things that were said during public comment, those things can only be clarified if we are in the one-to-one setting. So my ask is that if you have an individual situation that you want to discuss with our team, call us and let's make an appointment and let's sit down.
All means all.
Come
Not a
in,
one-on-one setting.
Come in and make an appointment and meet with us. We will meet with you. Thank you.